What's going on, guys? I'm Lakota, and today's video is all about stories that make you go, ooh. How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you again. I hope that you've had a great week. My week has been rather busy. I've had a lot of commissions, which is awesome, but I've also been the acting manager at the store that I work at for 2 weeks now, and it's been wild. COVID's starting to kind of ramp back up in my area again, so I had to work a lot of long shifts with very short crew. But you're not here to listen to me bitch about my day job. No, you're here because you want to hear some cringy stories, and I have plenty of them for you. I love cringe. It's one of my favorite things. I love the stories, I love the videos, anything that just kind of makes you grimace and pull your chin in. Lucky for me, I've had a lot of cringy situations pop up in my life, and I'm sure that you will all appreciate me retelling them in full detail. So I'm going to spin you some yarns and show off some time-lapse videos of the artwork that I worked on this past week.
Let's go.
I wasn't sure what story to start off with first, so I figured why not start at the beginning and tell an awkward story about myself as a child. And this is arguably one of the worst stories from my childhood. About a moment that would have had a major impact on the psyche of probably any other child if they had a decent grasp on reality. But when I was a youngin', I was a bit off, we'll say. I know I've got ADHD, but I've often wondered if I'm not floating around somewhere on the spectrum, at least Asperger's, because as a child, I did not pick up on social cues at all. And I think it was in like first or second grade, and my mom had me in the 4-H club. And if you don't know what that is, then you probably don't live anywhere near woods. 4-H is kind of like Boy Scouts, but instead of learning cool stuff like how to set up a campsite or build a fire, you get to learn about growing corn and birthing cows. I don't remember much of what I did in 4-H because I was pretty young, but I do believe that that is where I found my first big crush. She was a little bit older than me, a brunette. She had glasses. I was super into like the librarian types as a kid. Anyway, this girl, she started hanging around me, and she was really nice to me, and she started holding my hand, which was delightful because up to this point, I didn't really have any friends. I had like one friend that I saw occasionally, and I just skipped so many levels. I was now holding hands with somebody of the opposite sex, which was pretty awesome. A little while into our sweaty palm relationship, I wanted to express my feelings to this girl about how I felt, because neither of us had actually come out and said, like, I want to be more than friends. We just held hands, and that was all. But with me and my little awkward boy brain, nothing was as simple as just saying, hey, I would like to be your boyfriend. No, that was out of the question. I had to make an impact, so I wrote her a poem. And by a poem, I mean a rap that I heard in a cartoon movie that my grandmother had, and I just replaced certain words in this rap with the girl's name and 4-H type stuff. So that is a thing that happened. Now, I could have just written this down and put it in a card, given it to her, and that would have been it. But no, again, too simple. I waited until our fall 4-H hayride. We sat next to each other in a trailer on hay bales that was being pulled by a truck, in case you don't know what a hayride is. Not just us though, there was parents, other kids, dog, probably a goat. The trailer started moving, and I waited till, I don't know, this was a long time ago, we'll say halfway into a 30-minute hayride. So, you know, there was no escape. I decided this is it. Now is the time to let this girl know how I feel. Very publicly. I pulled the paper that I had written this love confession rap onto out of my pocket, and with no warning, I stood up, turned around and faced her, and I started reciting this rap to her in front of everybody. I distinctly remember doing like what I thought were like rap moves while putting on this performance. I ended the shindig by like putting my hand out to her and asking if she would be my girlfriend. Nothing. No response. There wasn't even laughter from the other kids. And she just stared at me like she had just witnessed the Twin Towers crumbling. And I just stood there, with my hand out until eventually a parent said, just, excuse me, you need to sit down. So I sat down and still nothing. No eye contact. Definitely no holding hands. Now I know what you're thinking. How terrible. You embarrassed this poor little girl in front of everybody. But, oh wait, don't worry. It gets much worse for me. So this girl never speaks to me again of her own volition. She avoids me like the plague. It goes so far as to, I would start to walk towards her and she would run away. Which, okay, fair. And then one day I finally get her attention. I go up to her and I ask, it's point blank, why aren't you my friend anymore? And she proceeds to tell me that her mom had told her that I was, and I'm going to use her words here because they're burned into my brain. Her mom had apparently told her that she thought I was retarded and that I needed a friend and it would be good for her if she would go and be my friend. So that's why she hung out with me, was so that she would make, you know, her mom and her mom's friends happy, because there was somebody taking care of the poor retarded child. I can't help but laugh every time I tell it. Like, I was that weird as a kid that people actually thought that I was mentally. That made me think about some things as a kid. I had some reevaluating to do with how I was leading my life at that point. In all honesty though, maybe she was right. I mean, I did plagiarize a rap from a cartoon. Maybe I am the retarded one. You know, just to reinforce what this girl thought about me, I'm going to tell one other story from my childhood before moving on to adulthood. And that is, I remember, I have really good long-term memory. Like, I remember a lot about my childhood, and I can't remember a damn thing that happened an hour ago. So, short-term, long-term, fantastic. I want to say that this happened in kindergarten because I had a specific teacher who, she was very, I don't know, she was mean, I guess. Kind of. I just remember she called me stupid once. Anyway, I was hungry. There was a kid sitting next to me and I kept saying like, boy, I'm really hungry and lunch is so far away. And the kids were like, I don't remember what they were like. That was too long ago. But I decided to make my own sandwich out of construction paper. Bread, lettuce, meat, tomato, more bread. And I took this thing and I ate it. I ate the whole thing in front of these kids who were just like, bruh, he's going for it. He is sending it right now. And again, teacher watches the whole thing and comes up and was just like, why did you do that? And I said, I'm hungry. And she's like, we have snacks. And I'm like, I wanted a sandwich. So I ate a paper sandwich. Okay, enough about me. Moving on. These are cringy stories that I was party to, but I wasn't the catalyst, we'll say. Both of these next stories, they come from college. Now, I went to a Christian college. I am super happy that I went there. I made some great lifelong friends. I didn't learn much of anything because I was a terrible student. I was not there to go to school. I was there to party and find my wife and friends. But as you can imagine, a lot of weird, cringy, awkward things can happen at a Christian college. A lot of very sheltered kids that ended up going to this college. So you can just imagine the awkward situations that happened. Now, this first one would be sad if it weren't so funny. We had our orientation day. We all went and we got transported around St. Louis, got to see a bunch of the places where they did like homeless ministries, things like that. They showed us around the college, the campus, which was a pretty nice campus at the time. But it ended, the first day ended with us going to the dorms. And we went down to the basement area of the guys' dorms, and everybody sat in a giant circle all around the basement of the guys' dorm. And there couple people up, speaking and introducing themselves and blah 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 blah. Anyway, couple guys down from me, there's this young man who you can tell is terrified of everything. Like, he's never been out of the house and this is a very new experience for him. he farts. We're all guys. Farts are hilarious. So, the guy actually, I think the guy speaking was like, good one. It wasn't loud. It sounded like, someone stepped on a duck. It wasn't no big deal. It didn't sound wet or anything, but the guy farted. And us being guys, we're like, yeah, all right, nice. He did not think so. He got very, very red. He just kind of like imploded in on himself, and just like, okay, right on. Guy in the middle of the circle continues talking, and then we hear the crying. He's like 3 people away from me, and he's like doing the like on top of that, it stinks. So it was just like everybody got quiet, which made it so much worse because that's all you could hear was this crying man, and we were all just kind of marinating in his gas, and it was uncomfortable for everybody. I want you to put yourself in that situation. It was bad for that guy, I guess. Like, I understand you can be embarrassed, but imagine that, like, we don't know what to say. What do you say to a crying man who's crying because he farted? I didn't see him after that night. I'm pretty sure he went back home. He could not hack it. In the real world, farts were scary, and my heart goes out to the guy. Moving on from there, though, this is the last story about college. Probably the last story for this video, because I think this is going on long enough. But I met my future wife at this college, and we would we'd go try to be alone. And one of the best places to go was the chapel. They had decently comfortable chairs, and there was a piano, and sometimes a friend would come in and play piano while we talked. It was very nice. And one day we are in there, and this guy comes in. This guy, he lived on the bottom floor of the dorm. You know how there's guys that they've got like the hair, the face, and the smile, and all of it together, it says either I'm gonna be a cult leader or I'm gonna be a serial killer. Like, those are my 2 destinations. He wavered. So we're sitting in the seats, and he comes out and he goes onto the stage, and he's just kind of walking back and forth. We really aren't paying him attention, and in the middle of our conversation, he just goes, "Hey guys!" So Brian Regan's his special came out, and I want to say it was his special, The Epitome of Hyperbole. So this guy, he says, I've been watching this special on repeat, and I think I have his stand-up routine almost memorized. And we're like, cool, man. Okay. And we go back to talking, and he's like, hey, you mind if I try it out on you? We're decently nice people, especially back then. We're a little bit more jaded now, but we're like, I guess go for it. And he begins. And he's doing okay for about 5 minutes. And then he starts getting mixed up. He starts kind of like fumbling words and getting punchlines mixed up. He stops smiling, which was alarming. He'd be like, okay, wait. Okay, let me back up. Again, Brian Regan's stand-up, not his stand-up. Brian Regan's Epitome of Hyperbole stand-up special is what he is reciting to us. And he's getting it wrong. The disturbing thing was that he was getting frustrated. Really frustrated. He started pacing back and forth, and his head's down, his hair's over his face, and he's like mumbling to himself in between sentences. And me and Jess are just kind of like side-eyeing each other, like, we should go. We did. We're still alive. I don't know whatever became of this guy. I hope that things went well for him and that he got better at memorizing comedians' stand-up routines. Sometimes I wonder if if I was more assertive, how that would have turned out. Like, if he was like, hey guys, what? Can I do Brian Regan's stand-up? No. Go away. I wonder if I would have woken up in the middle of the night to that face and that hair just looming over me. And he's like, hey, I've been watching the Halloween movies. Do you mind if I try it out on you? Anyway, that's mean. I really do hope the best for the guy. I hope that he never got married, because his significant other would have had to have listened to him do other people's stand up, and If she didn't laugh, who knows what would have happened. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you cringed a little bit and you laughed a whole lot. Leave me some comments and let me know what you think are the cringiest things that have happened in your life. And maybe I'll do another video where I just read other people's cringy stories, because I love them. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I love cringe. It's it's exciting to me. I don't get, no, I'm not going to say that. You guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you in the next video. Say bye, Berbers.